Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Fireside Chat. My name is Matthew. I'm going to be joined by Howard today, and probably the sounds of thunder in the background because there's a bit of a storm where I'm at. Today, we're going to be talking about the event coming up tomorrow, and there's a couple, but there's the really big one, the giant YouTuber event. Howard put in all this amazing work, so he's going to be the one to talk about it. And as always, in between, start asking questions, and we'll start answering them.
Yeah, I mean, there are obviously a number of things that we can get into. We can talk about the YouTuber stuff. We can talk about how co-op is progressing, what we did this week. We can talk about anything that we're doing for skirmish. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that we can touch on. And I don't know what people are most interested in hearing. Um, but I don't know if I should go on a monologue or answer questions first. Are there any questions
So,
in the stream right now?
Sanitary asked, did they mail my Kickstarter swag yet? Because he didn't get it. So we probably did. If you didn't get it, though, something probably went wrong. Definitely
Yeah.
email us.
Okay. So basically, everything that we know, we've actually shipped out. So we shipped out just about what at least what I think is just about everybody's stuff. There are some stuff that got returned. So I don't know if yours is one of them. And as it turned out, some stuff got lost in the mail. Some people did not fill out the survey, so we don't know where to ship it to. So for example, what size T-shirts they want and whatnot. So if you haven't received your stuff, definitely contact us. And if you have contacted us about, us missing your stuff, I've actually shipped out everything or to everybody who's reached out to us. So if you still haven't gotten yours, it could be because it's lost again, and I need to find that will happen and find another shipping method in USPS, which is cheaper, but not always, not the most reliable, even with tracking. So, just let us know what's happening, and we'll try to take care of it. So that's Kickstarter. Anything else?
So the next question is, as someone who hasn't been following, can you give us the lowdown on this YouTuber thing?
Oh yeah, okay. So basically, in the past we had, a number of YouTubers who play the game, who've checked out the game, pretty much like on their own, right? That's whether that's Yoxcast or Jesse Cox or TB, or Joe, whatever. So there are a number of YouTubers who have, check out the game, did videos, and play with the game, check out the Kickstarter and whatnot. And then later on, we got to, their network, because they all belong to a lot of them belong to a network or a few different networks, such as Machinima or Polaris, which is, Maker, or like Curse and whatnot. And so the network will start reaching out to us and other developers, indie developers, to basically see if developers will be willing to pay them for them to come together to do like a bigger event. And so this is like about, a year and a half ago, I would say. And then so we like decided to give it a shot, which is actually kind of crazy. We're like, what is this? But, in talking to some of the YouTubers who have covered the game, when they work with other developers, they find it to be like, pretty effective. And so we decided to give it a shot. And so we worked with Polaris a few times. And then recently, just because, the network being what they are, maybe it's the Disney-ness or whatnot, whatever, it's getting harder to work with networks and stuff like that. So they pitched us, usually what they do is they'll pitch us an idea for a campaign, and we'll try to chime in, and they'll quote us a price and whatnot to see if it's all worth it and stuff. So, recently I think it just becomes less affordable going with the network. And it's just the communication breakdown is just like a little bit too crazy to deal with. And so, we just started, because it was kind of a crazy thing, and the way they pitched us, and then they committed to some people, and then whatever, and things went awry, and just kind of got weird and complicated. And so we decided to start working with the YouTubers directly, which has been kind of surreal, but kind of also really cool. So we, on our own, just working with some of the YouTubers directly, we put together this event. It's actually a pretty awesome thing where basically like 16, 17 YouTubers came together and played three matches. And then, they TB and Jesse kind of made some jokes about, sort of the ongoing narrative with their rivalry and whatnot. So, I hope like, people will enjoy it. It turned out to be really cool. And the video is going to drop tomorrow. So definitely check it out. And if you have the game's on sale, so if you want to buy some extra copies of the game, it's a good time to do it. I would say just giving our own game a plug.
Yeah. And hopefully, a lot of the YouTubers have played the game before. We don't see as much Gatling into balloons, but if you do, just know that you might be better than some of the YouTubers. Because if you're better than us, because we've certainly been beaten by our own community. I have no ego anymore in Guns of Icarus. I've been humbled.
Yeah. We didn't do like all that well in some of these matches as well. Partly just because we're on, because the YouTubers they're on their own ship and they're talking to each other, so we don't really have captain to captain communications with them. So a lot of times I had to kind of try to guess what they want to do, and sometimes by the time I rush into an engagement, they're on full retreat and I'm just kind of stranded. So it was I wouldn't say we did that well either, but
it was definitely a lot of fun either way.
yeah, hopefully it will continue to do well, and we'll have hopefully this is continuing to be a way that we can basically support ourselves, and it's a good way to get the word out and get people to buy the game. I think for like I was talking to TV a little bit about it, and he kind of mentioned this on his podcast, is that now, I mean, for YouTubers, it's actually not easy. I mean, granted, there's celebs and stuff. People question, why, would they want to charge money or whatever? Don't they make a lot of money just on the ads and whatnot? Actually, with the exception of a few, like really, really super top end or like really elite, like YouTubers, and a lot of them don't, and because advertising is really hard, and so they actually don't make a lot of money doing what they love to do, and so I think it's actually mutually beneficial. I mean, I wrote a few posts on Gamma, and this is kind of a debate among journalists and among developers, as far as like, okay, the viability of doing this, but from having done it, having had experience working with them, the experience is always really authentic. It really, really, really is. Nobody's bullshitting anything, faking anything here, and they're actually, even if like it's a pay thing, they don't, if they're bugs or whatever, they're not paid just because they like the game. We're doing this because they actually like the game first. So I think the authenticity is there, and I think it might get to a point where some people are taking money and just like, oh, we like this game, even though they don't, just for the money. But at least with us, that's not. I'm 100% sure that's not the case, and it's not like they make a lot of money or we make them a lot of money. But I think it's actually mutually beneficial, and people get just see how the game is played. So yeah.
We had a couple other questions. The first one was, am I at a standing desk or a really tall chair? I'm at a standing desk. I recommend it. I like it. Then someone's saying the items they're looking for was from the original Kickstarter. If you're talking about like the original Guns of Icarus Kickstarter, you definitely should have gotten those. If you're talking about like, I know. Just send us another email and we'll figure out the details of what's going on. Make sure you get everything.
Yeah, absolutely. If this is original Guns, wow, that's definitely something we need to take care of, because all that item I personally shipped out a long time ago.
Yep. And then someone asking about the 4-packs on Steam. I really wish that through Steam you could buy the 4-pack even if you already own the game, but Steam does that to like try to prevent fraud and stuff. If you want to work around that and buy multiple packs at that kind of discount, email us at feedback@musegames.com. We'll find a way.
Yeah. Steam just works in mysterious ways. That's what it is. Yeah, I mean, I have a dev account, right? And even I get blocked by their fraud detection stuff. They try to buy other games. You know, that happened to me like 3-4 times buying other games, and it's like, oh, fraud detection kicked in. Like, I actually had to email like our own dev, window. It's like, hey, Peter, can I get my account unblocked? Like, it was crazy.
And then someone saying, any advice for Guns of Icarus streamers, competitive or otherwise? First things first, get comfortable with the spectator camera. There's a lot of great casters that I'd recommend watching some of their old stuff as well. And if you go back far enough, you can see how terrible the spectator system originally was in beta, which is always fun.
And let us know, man. Like, if we, we'll love to just continually post you guys stuff. It's not like, our presence is super huge, but hey, I mean, if we'd love to post what you guys stream, on social media, on Facebook, Twitter. We can link it from our, Twitch or from our YouTube. We basically follow you guys on YouTube as well. So we can do whatever we can to try to feature you guys, to try to get the word out for you guys. So like, yeah, I'd love to, if you guys want to stream guns, it's an honor. And we'll do whatever we can to help you guys spread the word.
Yep, and another thing to do, the Iron Fork of Friday and like the Sacrilege event and the Sunday Skirmish. Those are great people to get to know as well because they're always looking for streamers to do things. Always talk to us. We're running the teaching tournament now, but afterwards we're going to have a competitive event, so I'm going to be calling for streamers. Basically, talk to people, and we love people streaming the game. We'll do everything. We'll get you in touch with whoever we can.
Yeah, even if you want to do some giveaways and stuff, let us know.
Yeah,
make that happen.
There's been a couple questions, I guess, so now's the greatest time. Why is there a mannequin behind you, Howard?
It's not a mannequin, by the way. It is a punching bag. It's like Eric does some like martial arts stuff. So he was like doing it in his room, and his room's small. So he's like, "Oh, I'll bring it in?" And I'm like, "Okay." So he brings it in, and but I don't know. No one uses it anymore. I think now it's like we put it at the door to scare people. But no one like really does anything. Like, for a while, Derek was like trying to practice some, just like work on some animation. So he was using it like just practice animations on, especially like some more combat animations, just to test out stuff or whatever. Not to say that we'll have melee in Guns of Icarus, right? But just to do animation tests and stuff. That's for example, for the trailer, the CG trailer that we put out for the prologue trailer, he was doing some work on that, right? And that's kind of what he used it for. Yeah, but otherwise it's a guardian totem. Yeah.
So actually, I have a question about the mannequin. Did it come with a shirt, or did you guys have to choose what shirt it would wear?
I don't know. That's a question for Eric. I actually thought about that. I think it came with a shirt. Fair
enough, because I was curious because I really want to punch a guy who wears a shirt like that, or if it was
Yeah, like I think it came with a shirt. Because I mean, when Eric first brought in, like he always had the shirt on, unless he that's a shirt he wears and he put it over the mannequin. It's possible. I don't know.
All right, and then someone's asking, can you please add more maps to practice mode, which is a common request and one that I think we agree with. I think it's just engineering time, isn't it?
Well, like it's okay. Like what we actually wanted to do is to design a map that is just for practice. That, because of all the map stuff that we're doing for co-op, is sort of like got pushed down in priority. I think adding, obviously adding existing maps, to practice it's easier. But like originally we actually, because it's practice, so we kind of thought that it would be cool to do a practice map where people can practice like, we have more dummy targets or maybe even some AI enemies. But and just different terrain, like one map that has all the different terrain. So It's not like, oh wow, cycling through different maps, but like it didn't happen, and so we kind of just let that fall to the wayside a little bit, or at least put it on the back burner a little bit. But yeah, it is a pretty oft requested item, and we can probably do basically add more practice maps first.
And then someone asking, did Jacob dead? Jacob did not dead. He it's exam season for him. So he's working really hard on that, and we wanted to do the best possible. So we gave him a pass. Said we didn't have to harass him for the next hour.
Yeah. If you by the way, so Jacob and I and maybe one other will be at EGX, and EGX is in Birmingham. It's Eurogamer Expo. So if anybody who's watching or listening, if you guys are going, let us know. Would love to see people there. Yeah, EGX Birmingham. I don't know what that is. Well, I know where that is on the map. I've never been there, so be interesting.
And Howard, there's some people asking for the progress on co-op mode.
Yes, awesome. Okay, right now so for this week, what we are doing is actually pretty exciting, I think, because we've done a lot of work over the last couple of weeks to tighten up AI pathing so that they handle or they could traverse narrow spaces much better than they were before, and that relieved or freed us up to have the flexibility to design more intricate maps, because how originally it's kind of a tough cycle that we were in. Some of the maps that were designed were more open, and when it's more open, it feels more like a kill box. It's like and the engagement feels like just like a big slaughter kind of a thing, or it's a big bloodbath kind of a thing. So now we can actually have the map themselves be more strategic. So we designed some new maps, alter some of the existing maps so that they're more intricate. There's a lot more cover, terrain is a lot more in play. Weather, cloud, and whatnot. It's a lot better than they were before. And AI wise, I think she's really still kind of using the existing game modes to tune the AI. How tensions measured. Sometimes fighting just it's a little bit too slow, or not enough enemies and whatnot. So it's kind of still just making iterations on that, and that's like a constant struggle, I think. And then before, for example, with some of the AI ships like the Hunter, they are just vicious beasts. Like if you put them in skirmish, they will probably be doing quite okay by themselves. And so it's a little bit paring that back, just to see where a good sweet spot is. We actually designed a new map today. Oh no, sorry, this week, at the beginning of this week. So we tested that out. I think it has a lot of promise. We spec'd out and started working on a lot of the in-match, progression stuff, or shorter loop feedback, such as maybe trying out different things with loot drop, resources. Just experimenting with some additional game mechanics. Just all trying to get players to gauge how well they're doing in the match, and to have maybe some bonus objectives, or basically really short feedback objectives and progression stuff that are just interesting from match to match. A world progression is pretty much getting ready to be started as far as UI design goes, which is going to be really UI heavy. So that is getting underway finally, after a pretty long design phase. So that's also cool. And then we tried out some new player ships, which is kind of hilarious. They're because they're really geared towards co-op. They're very interesting. The weapons wise, the 3 weapons are still being used, and we're balancing those. The 3, if you guys haven't, if we if you guys haven't tuned in the last couple of weeks, they are one is Lightning Tesla based, one is basically a beam cannon, a light beam, and the third one is, how do you describe the third one? It's like a projectile gas mine type of thing. Yeah, so I guess a lot of different things happening. It's kind of fun.
Definitely. And there's a couple questions about it, like, will the co-op AI ever make its way back to PvP for ships that like lose their captain?
I think that's really sort of the $1 million question. I mean, it's really depends on how well we can make the AI to be, right? I mean, right now the reason why they work in co-op is because their behavior, like they're very set. They're more. There's a set of rules that the AI pathing is bounded by, right? It's like, there's kind of a predictability in how they engage with you. So they're actually pretty decent. But there is also like a pattern that you can anticipate, right? Like how like co-op, like AI kind of should be. And they're not, I mean, what makes it, what takes it, carries it to another dimension is that players make moment-to-moment decisions, right? And they can react and have like a lot of permutation as far as their decision making goes and do all kinds of different stuff. It's hard to actually have AI to have that kind of level of intelligence for you to feel like you're not at a disadvantage. I think it's going to be tough, and I think okay, as good as the AI is now, like I think they work in co-op because they have they have a numerical advantage, right? There is kind of strength in number, right? And they have like some set patterns in how they fly. I mean, if you carry it over to co-op, it's like, I mean, to skirmish, you might be really frustrated with how the AI captain flies. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. And then for the AI pilots, they're asking, can we see the AI pilots on co-op ships in skirmish mode, such as in a new like escort mission or something?
Wait, so basically to see their avatar, you mean?
No. So to have like the since we can make AI fly planes and ships, to have AI flown planes and ships either assist or try to hinder a PvP game.
I mean, that. Yeah, I mean, it could be because right now, the way AI works is that you have friendly AI as well, right? So like if you're playing this quote unquote assault mode or like retrieve, I don't know if you guys saw some of the recent videos that that we were putting. I guess not, because we're like just recording some videos internally for Sony at E3, we won't be at E3, by the way, but Sony wanted some like footage of the game at E3. But anyways, like what you basically, in terms of what you can see, is that you have AI enemies, but then you also have AI friendlies, that friendly say ground turrets or planes that actually kind of accompany you in combat. And that's actually really important because sometimes the AI is really overwhelming, and so your AI friendlies can take some shots, right? And so you can actually play off of you either use your AI friendly as a shield, or you can like basically sort of use the AI friendlies to draw fire, and you can basically try to maneuver for say some pincer or some other tactical stuff. But in skirmish, I think it would be interesting because like if they're accompanying you in combat, like we obviously don't want them to be like deadly accurate and always like making shots, and have them be like the center part of combat. So how that will work exactly, like how useful they are exactly, will be interesting. I mean, if there's like a game mode that's a little bit more RTS like, then I think, yeah, I mean, I could see that being pretty interesting, like for different player sides. But like for death matches and whatnot, if it's like in that type of format, then I actually don't know how interesting they will be, because they can't be too powerful, but they also can't be like, if they're weak, they're kind of useless, right? So I think if we do, we'll probably come up with some other game mode where it's like more interesting.
Yeah, actually, they were saying Guns of Icarus MOBA creeps confirmed.
Yeah, yeah, oh, yeah.
Dota guns, guys. That we've decided to completely change up the style.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, to build it, yeah, that would like add.
That's
like
not a lot of
5
work,
years.
right? To create a MOBA.
Yeah, for us. Yeah.
And then people are saying birds need to explode when shot at.
Oh my God! Hell yes. I mean, I'm the only one saying that on the team, though. No one else liked the idea. So
You have my vote. I want to shoot the birds. I shoot the birds anyways, even though it doesn't do anything.
I love shoot. Sounds so bad, but yeah, I love shooting at the birds.
We're shooting at people already. I mean, we're already bad.
I know, but they don't die. People don't die. That's the thing.
Well, the birds don't die. They just would explode into a poof of feathers. And then what happens next is up to your imagination. I assume they got new feathers and are happier overall.
Yeah, yeah, it could be. Oh, yeah, I kind of like it. I like it. Other people don't like it.
Can we get more game types in PvP, like a single flag capture the flag using a balloon, or a race mode using checkpoints?
Race mode using checkpoints.
Basically, can we have more PvP modes? Those were just examples.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, definitely. It's hard to. It just, as you guys know, like it's just hard to, do everything all at once. But yeah, absolutely. I mean, even like without like coming up with totally new game modes, basically bringing more maps for more modes, or like different scale of maps, whatever, will be already. It will add something right already. So yeah, I mean, generally, I totally agree.
Yeah. Richard and Kitty are bringing up the VIP mode. That's been going around, that's been very player run, and it's a lot of fun. So yes, we love that idea. I wish we could double the team size, because there's a lot of great community ideas like that I'd love to just say, yep, we have 10 guys waiting in the wings.
Yeah, I mean, truthfully, because what is sort of a problem for us, well, at least a kind of a bottleneck, has always been a bottleneck, is that it just, map design, how intensive it is. And it's finally, like before with PvP, I think you can sort of get away with doing things more manually, right? And just doing things more meticulously and manually and so on. Now for co-op, we have to look at least explore doing, a number of things procedurally, or at least automate the map generation process and pipeline, and try to make sure that that's more streamlined than it currently is, what it was before. Like map it's really time and game mode is really time intensive, because it's like it's asset intensive. It's also very design intensive. It's also very testing intensive. So it's like probably some of the most expensive and intensive things that we do. Expensive as far as like the amount of work that it requires. So that and ship are like the two big things as far as like iterative cycle and lead time. So we'll try to speed that up, and once that's actually sped up, then I think there's more possibilities for us to do more.
All right. And someone asking, any future fight against the devs coming up? And as someone said, it happens every week, and that's true. Every week, Tuesday, Thursday at 5 p.m. You can fight us, try to get free items, and just hang out with us in game. So, definitely.
By the way, like, so with the YouTuber stuff happening tomorrow, right? We'll try to be in game as much as we can. But then I didn't mention like who's going to be in it, and let me do that real quick. So Total Biscuit is going to be captaining a ship, and he will be crewed by Kraken, PBG, and Krendor. Jesse Cox is flying, and as well, and Dodger and Cryo once again be on this ship, and also with the new addition, Angry Joe, and I'm the dev flying with them. And then let's see, Grumps fly one ship. So Aaron, Ross, who else? Susie, and who else? I think Brent. They flew a ship together. Markiplier, Jack Septic, Lord Minion, and Bob Moiska flew a ship together. So that's the team. And then Minx flew with Matt and Eric
And Jacob.
Yeah.
We had a lot of fun with Minx.
Yeah, Minx is pretty awesome.
Could there be plans for automated referee support, manually adjusting scores, pausing, etc.? I've actually built a spec on that. That one comes down to engineering time again.
Yeah, absolutely. That's we'd love to. I mean, it's just cool. It's just cool, and I think for competitive, it's really useful. Obviously, it's very useful. So, we had that spec'd out. It's not built yet.
And then someone's asking, can we get the large version of Peryton Rumble back?
Oh, yeah, I think man, I love that map. Seriously, I like it. Yes.
Well, I mean, it's good enough that a year and a half later, people are still asking for it. So.
Yeah, I mean that. Okay, we'll do something to that extent. That's, I think, something that we're planning on doing. It's easier.
And then, is it possible to add a Davy Jones character in guns? Like you're in the middle of a death match, and then Davy Jones comes out of nowhere, and you have to avoid it as well as kill your opponent. So basically, a giant boss ship randomly appearing in a skirmish match.
I plead the fifth on that one. Wait, I'm supposed to answer questions, I know, but I think that might ruin a surprise one day. So I'm gonna, actually just leave this one up to you guys' imagination for a little bit.
Fair enough. And then there was a question before which I missed, but I can grab now. Is there any chance that when you damage planes, they go kamikaze against you, or are they only just going to crash into the ground?
Well, the planes right now are sort of kamikaze. Like, they're not as kamikaze as they used to be, but they are sort of kamikaze. Like, sometimes in a sort of in a run, right? In a strafing run, like, hey, I mean, if they decide to, at least on the way back after a run, after they empty their clips, if they, on the way back, decide to ram you, kill themselves to do some extra damage, they sometimes will.
And then, are any of the PvP maps getting reworked for co-op, or are they all new maps in co-op?
They're all new maps. All new maps.
Yep.
All new maps.
Yeah, I started grabbing some B footage this week for Sony, or B-roll for Sony, as Howard said. I don't know, should we, because I was planning on grabbing more, should we start getting some together for the players to check out, all the cool maps?
Yeah, we can. I think, we will probably, I would like to condense it down maybe a little bit more, just because with Sony, we're not, they're usually pretty, they usually expect whatever you give them to be, somewhat special. And so I would like to kind of give them, just basically do what we do and give them like whatever we have. But then I think if we want to distill some stuff or just basically post it on, on our site, on Kickstarter, on whatever, do it. Let's do it. Because I mean, I don't even know if we have time to do this, but we're supposed to cut them a trailer too. But
we barely had time to grab the B-roll this week.
Well, not this week. I think trailer comes later, but still, I don't know if we can even deliver that. But like I think just having like 2-minute thing, 5-minute thing for people to check out. Yeah, absolutely, man. Like, I don't know. Yeah. So I mean, the problem is just like a lot of the stuff, like especially the HUD stuff or co-op are really work in progress, experimental things. So it is what it is. Yeah, just they're subject to change basically.
And then, what time tomorrow are the YouTubers playing? And are they, or is it going to be live streamed?
So they're not going to be live streamed. The videos will drop. Actually, I'm not even sure. Like this is kind of the thing with like working with people directly. and not having like all players like doing this, because I mean we're trying to figure everything out the first time. I mean, I just kind of left it up to people to like find their favorite times to drop the video. So they're not gonna all roll out all in one shot. So they're probably gonna be like, you're probably gonna have like videos posted all throughout. But I did ask them to link to each other's channel, so it's a little bit more convenient for people, for viewers to kind of go back and forth between different POVs. Yeah, so there won't be live stream, only YouTube, because only video, because they had to take some time to do their own editing, add their own like intro and all that stuff. So.
And then after seeing the retrieve mode demo on the future co-op, I've been wanting to ask, what are the odds of balloon dragging dynamic being adapted to capture the flag or skirmish at all?
I mean, it's definitely really possible. Like, whatever mechanic that we develop for co-op, like if they make sense, we'll absolutely consider bringing it to skirmish, because why not, right? I mean, we're not in it to kind of just like waste assets or waste mechanics. So like where it applies, we'll always love to kind of have as much cross flow, I guess, between the two modes. So yeah, I mean, I think could be cool. I mean, it could even be cool for like something like an alternative version, Crazy King. Could be cool.
Definitely. And we are caught up on questions. I guess you guys aren't interested in asking us stuff. Can we please give me monsters roaming the ruins like birds of the sky? So the chat's starting to get on to the Guns of Icarus world thing we put on our site. Bedtime Giants, we put it up a while back. But
yeah, I mean, see, like that's seriously, I mean, that's a fun part. Yeah, that's a fun part, man.
Sammy's asking, any mention to the whole drogue shoot bug in game? Nothing that other than that Eric is now aware of it, and I think he's gonna fix it. Like, I don't think it was intended.
Yeah, yeah. We got some separate reports on it. Yeah. I don't know what he did with it.
There's now impact reduction on it for like it just like I think it was just a bug.
Wait a minute, I think he fixed it. Did he fix it? I thought he said he was going to fix it.
Yeah, I remember him saying he was going to fix it. I don't know if the fix went in yet though.
Okay, I thought it was in actually, but I could be wrong.
When is the rumored Spire buff where it gets plus 1,000 armor and health?
I mean, whenever that happens, let me know, because I would be very happy. No, I mean yeah. I mean, okay, fine. I mean, I might like invite more Spire hate or whatever, especially now that his win rate is actually really good. But man, just keep in mind, whatever complaint about the Spire is now, it was I suffer like, hey, people like suffer through Spire for 2 years, okay? Like, now that it has its day in the sun, it's not necessarily bad, is it?
All right. So Tiger's asking, I'm a little confused about this co-op thing. What is it in a nutshell?
In a nutshell, is basically still multiple ships. Well, it could be one ship, maybe eventually down to one player, but up to 4 ships on a side. So you're still playing the game that way, working together on multiple ships, crewing, shooting guns and flying and whatnot. But you're basically battling against AI enemies in different game modes. So, for example, we have a defense/raid kind of a map where you have a resource base, right? And the enemy has these outposts like drills or whatever that's surrounding you in the surrounding areas, and they're harvesting resources, and the resources deplete. So you're going out to basically just try to destroy the enemy drills that are going to be protected by enemies, and then you're trying to contest resources, blow it up, bring like someone said, balloon, or bring these resources, tow them back to base. And that when you do, that's how that's a winning condition, right? And then you'll have like some intermediate goals, such as like, okay, the retrieval of resources gives you like, boosts in different ways to say, and then you can potentially like place emplacements, and you have friendly emplacements and friendly ships that will help you like defend your base. And so, for example, a losing condition would be your base is blown up and you lose. That's like one type of game mode, for example. And then another thing that we're playing with is, someone mentioned retrieve. So it's like you have enemy convoys that are trying to escape to their base with cargo, and you're trying to intercept them and defeat them, and blow up, tow the cargo back to your own base. So it's like kind of a resource contest type of thing. We have more, so like we're working on another more offensive type of game mode where you are basically encroaching on enemy like base and enemy like outposts, trying to take them out. Right now the one variant is just you're taking them out sequentially, and you're just plowing through like enemies and trying to get to people's enemies outposts and destroy it. So yeah, a number of different things. And we have a couple other modes in mind, but that's kind of more the flavor of the game. So it's it's more not just straight up death matches. You're just battling against other people. There's more of a like resource driven type of mechanic, contesting different things, and what you do will have eventually will be integrated into your world progression stuff. So you'll have a more permanent like progress to your to influence your faction and to also influence the world. But in match, will also reward you for doing things well. If that makes sense.
There's a couple questions that came up during that. The first is, how long after co-op mode will you then go back and give some love to skirmish mode? And a lot of the assets that are going into co-op mode are definitely going to see it skirmish mode, like the new UI now and the new UI that's going to come out afterwards. Were originally, or in part, designed because of co-op mode to try to show off the information better.
Yeah, I mean, it's skirmish hasn't really stopped. I mean, obviously we get criticisms for iterating too slow. Only 2 ships since like in the last year and a half, whatever. But what we rolled out, we'll still try to like add content. So we'll put out at least a few new maps. I mean, when we started, like I was looking at like some of our release history and stuff. Like we didn't add in 3v3 until later on in 2013, and then like some more resource like cap point type mechanics until early 2014. And then how many guns did we add? 4 or 5? So I mean, anyways, like we're always adding stuff, right? Before we didn't have notifications. There's notifications. Before we didn't have clan. Now we have clan. Before we didn't have workshop support. No ship customization.
Dies, all that stuff.
Yeah. So we added. We tried it. I mean, we every update we try to add some stuff that we thought would be interesting. For better or worse. Sometimes like people give us flack for doing something new, changing the metas, adding stuff and like new abilities like stamina or whatever. But I don't know. I mean, I think it's part of it is it's trying to innovate. Whether people appreciate it. I mean, we're not going to make people happy all the time, right? I mean, you guys can bitch at me like on stream right now, but I mean, we do want to reserve some ability to innovate. Otherwise, I think you guys will just get bored of the game. So that's not fun for us and not fun for you guys. So that's what I think anyway.
And then there are a lot of British-type hats going up in the workshop. Any chance of getting a British safari garb, a staple in steampunk, as a full costume?
Yeah, that'd be cool. I mean, that would be really cool. I think, man, it's always an age-old debate opening stuff up for like costumes and just more workshop stuff. I mean, so far, like the most complex things we haven't really. We hadn't really offered like workshop support for. Although, I mean, I'm willing to take a shot. I mean, but it's also because right now, like the way we integrate stuff in game is also kind of manual. Like Tim has to basically verify everything, test everything, clean stuff up a lot of times. Um, yeah, basically integrate stuff in scene, like test them, put them in game, blah blah. It's a lot of work. That's why we haven't accepted more stuff than we have, just because like Tim's like doing all the work by himself, and it's actually pretty time intensive. If we have an intern help us, for example, it would probably speed things up a little bit more. Just saying.
All right. And will you start developing adventure mode after co-op mode if you have the money?
Yeah, I mean, I think, okay, like the way we are approaching it is no longer. I mean, it's like, okay, there's still kind of sort of a step approach to it, but like, so for example, with co-op, like it could just be, okay, a few extra game modes, whatever, but it's like actually not just that, right? We're basically trying to integrate like the whole world progression aspect to it, the factions, so you will have like, a lot of faction specific stuff that you can earn, and you'll have like, faction specific enemies, faction specific costumes, skill, like all that stuff, we're doing it now, so like I guess for us, like the line, is already like, it's been blurred for a long time. It's really just looking at, what's cool, what we can realistically achieve, and try to do that. So we're taking a lot of, what was like originally, the so-called like what was originally conceived for adventure, and try to integrate that into what we're doing already. I mean, the one thing that we can't really get to, well, two things that we can't really get to are, the big things that we can't really get to are like, the whole economic simulation system. That's like huge. I mean, that like, to have something akin to like something like what Eve does, or whatever, it's like, man, it's really massive. So I mean, that is kind of not conceivable for us to do at the moment. Obviously, and then the other thing, just sort of the more like originally we were like, oh, okay, we can try to build out a bunch of different towns, like really model them all out that you can traverse and whatnot. And, that's like, well, hold on, that's like a ton of work, especially if we want to, differentiate them. And it's like a lot of work, like crazy amount of work. And so those kind of like, super large scope stuff, like we obviously can't get to right now. In one shot. I mean, eventually, I mean, they're just really like really huge scope stuff and really hardcore stuff. That I think big teams can execute. But I think that would just have to be on maybe like potentially a longer horizon thing that we can keep an eye out for. But other than that, a lot of the things that that a lot of other elements that we were thinking about for for the expansion, we're actually trying to make happen, and it will just be like, some of the stuff like, for example, we thought about like, doing auction houses, we're doing like your own ship hangars and all kinds of cool stuff, and cantina, the cafe, and whatnot, and like that, I think we can. It's also realistic to do. We can try to make happen, like kind of iteratively, incrementally. But some of the biggest like economic simulation stuff, I mean, it's good. It's kind of it's a little bit up in the air, to be honest, because that's like, scope is massive. It really is.
Now there was a question: how long does it take for a submitted decal to get into the game?
I think it really depends. Really, well, first, so we'll actually curate this, right? And by curating, we mean, okay, we'll look at it and make sure that we actually try to look at it and make sure that, best we can, make sure that, okay, it's not someone, it's not like a similar design, it's like not someone else's design, really, because legally we can't actually allow, Steam won't allow us to actually post that kind of stuff. But and then we actually just kind of look at, if this really similar design has been done before and whatnot, and how good it is and so on. If there's a fit in the game, and but then every like update we can only like do a few. So I mean, if you have like some of the workshop items are pretty good quality, and there's things that we would add them in, but we just kind of didn't have time to get to. There's also that. So I guess it's kind of variable. Um, Sometimes like maybe one update we'll put it in. Sometimes it might take us longer. It kind of depends.
All right. And then Byron says he has a question. Recently, the Depth team paired up with the Chivalry team to make a cross-game collaboration depth map. Any consideration for something fun like that?
Yeah, definitely. Like I would love to. I mean, if like, yes, I think it's something that like devs are doing more, at least kind of doing more like collaboration and sort of cross promotion stuff, especially with Kickstarter. If you look at like Kickstarter, like a lot of these some of my friends who are on Kickstarter, they're like promoting each other's work, and we're trying to do the same for other people that we find that are friends that we know can do good work and make good stuff. And yeah, I mean, if the opportunity comes up, like we'd love to, working with Chivalry guys, that would be cool. I don't, I mean, at top of mind, I don't know how exactly that would like what that would come out to be, but yeah, I mean, I think it would be awesome.
And can we get a clan dock/base that we can walk around and customize, kind of like Warframe's base system?
Like, yeah, man, like, yeah, I think that would be amazing. Like, we're thinking, like one idea would be like, okay, you have this, pretty big, expansive ship hangar, right? That's yours, and you can see all your different ships. You can like, customize it and walk around. People can walk around your ships. It's kind of like one of those. I don't know. We call like virtual environments or chat rooms, that type of stuff. Like, but it's cool. It's cool.
All right, and then we've got this question: when will we get a turning animation? I don't know exactly.
You mean like
turning?
Character turning or ship turning? Like turning it? Yeah.
Let us know which turning animation exactly, and then we'll let you know. And there was a question earlier which I want to grab. How many emails do we normally get? I would say roughly 30 to 40 a day.
Oh, I get more than that.
Yeah, I mean like straight to feedback kind of thing.
Feedback? Yeah, I mean it really depends. Like on a normal day, yeah, I would say at least basically a few tens. Like just all sorts of email that I get, usually somewhere between 100 to 200 a day. Yeah. I mean, it's not that bad, but like, I don't know. Sometimes I get more, but like it's usually not really. I usually just like, I would check my email on my phone too. Like it's like I'm pretty like I'm constantly checking stuff. Because part of like my job is like just like I think it's also to try to make sure that communication flow, right? So like sometimes like I would check an email. Not necessarily like, oh, I have to respond, I write a lengthy response, but I have to know like who gets what reply and stuff. So.
Speaking of cross promotion, I have quite a few TF2 friends to hook into guns. Any ideas as the next promo hat for the next sale? You know how hats are for there. We did make a hat for TF2.
We actually did. Like I think it's in their workshop store or whatever. I mean, actually, you know what? Okay, I know there was like there was a couple of things. One is that, they use a very specific shader for their hat, if I remember correctly. And so we actually made the hat, but to make it compatible with the shader work, I think, or something that they did, like it ended up was going to take quite a bit of time. And I think we actually did that. But also, like, so I talked to Steam about, like, hey, how possible it is to put on, like, to have, like, our stuff be a TF2 hat. And they're like, basically, I think, the whole, like, curation, submission, whatever process is, like, really lengthy. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember them telling us that we should have done it like before our game came out.
Yeah, I mean, well, I mean, I think it's still a possibility, but it's like supposed to be super lengthy. They just
Hmm.
don't. They just, yeah, they don't really. I guess they don't really integrate that many things. Apparently, I mean, I don't know, to be honest. But I haven't like follow how fast they integrate hats. But apparently, it's like really, really slow.
Yeah. And then for the animation thing, he was saying character animation, so the not feet, so basically a not feet sliding one for turning.
Mhm. Oh, I see. Yeah, I mean, honestly, like it's lower on our priority list, but yeah, I mean, I'll ping Derek, see if he has time to do some stuff.
And then someone's asking, when's the next time we get eyes on the progress of co-op mode? And you must come in late because we got to talk about it a bit, so I get to talk about it again. We are grabbing some footage, so we'll try to cut that up and put a little bit of something so you guys can see all the work. So you don't
Yeah,
think
I
we're just
mean,
sitting around having fun.
yeah, and like, man, obviously, it's like I've been talking about it for months, but it is, man, like it's definitely getting closer and closer. I know, I wish I said before, but with some of the new things that we're working on now, it's kind of the next level of development, I would say. And I do think, I really think that we're sooner, like we're progressing towards like getting ready for you guys to come in and start, test our prototype, like sooner now. Like I don't want to say, oh yeah, soon, shortly anymore, because like okay, but it's gonna happen, man. If this summer it doesn't happen, man, you guys can. I mean, yeah, I'll be in trouble. You guys can just don't. It's gonna happen.
Alright, and then Sammy's asking, what about an invite all clan button? It'd be useful for crew forums and custom lobbies. So basically, invite everyone in there to your clan.
Invite, like basically for every, like if you finish a match, kind of like, add crew as your friend, but invite crew to your clan type of functionality. Is that Sammy, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
That is actually really cool. Yeah, I don't,
My,
it's
my
kind of,
one worry would be spam because you with 4 people on a ship, you potentially have 4 clans that you could be getting an invite to every game. Well, I guess 3 others.
yeah, but I mean, you know yeah, I mean, it may be a balance between spam but versus like, hey, maybe I play well, I'm kind of wanted.
Hmm.
It's not a,
Yeah,
not
no,
it's not a it's not a bad type of spam. I mean, also we could probably put some like limitation on like, how many invite can be
Oh, no, no,
spam
no.
this
I,
way.
I reversed it. It's they want to invite a whole clan to a match, not a match to a clan.
Oh, I mean, I think, well, okay, if that's the case, I think it will, first of all, it will need to be a custom game only feature, right? Because, going through Matchmaker, it won't make sense, right? But yeah, I mean, okay, like, I don't know if this is kind of a same thing, but I was also thinking about, having a more in-game way to set up clan scrimmages. And, the one thing that I was having a problem reconciling, it's just like, okay, you send the invite, and how realistic it is for them to all be there, or like even like if you can schedule a scrimmage in match, like how realistic it is, like for them to both sides to actually be there, and how strict do we have to be with the invite and whatnot. You know what, like Sammy, like let's chat more on the idea, because this is something that like I actually have been thinking about, and I actually at one point wrote a some spec stuff on it, and there's some like things that like logically I can't quite work out in my head as far as like how it will work properly. But yeah, we can totally toss some ideas around, and like to pick your brain a little bit about how you think that could work. It could be, yeah, it's actually, I mean, I think it's really cool. I mean, I always want to do some more of these like clan to clan type of in-game engagement type of stuff, and to facilitate that happening. But I think there's a lot of logistics, or like logic challenges that I think I need to think through. Yeah.
All right. And we like have a minute left, so gonna grab the last questions. Small question, but we're aware that the character rig has an unused chin attach point on the male character. Any plans on activating it and making actual beards that move with the chin?
Yeah, and I mean, a related request has been to kind of have a separate, basically a separate mouthpiece, so you can have like a goggle potentially, a mask potentially, along with cigarettes and whatnot. I mean, yeah, I mean that's definitely on the same bucket of consideration. Yeah, I mean, dude, a lot of people brought that up. We haven't made it happen yet, but yeah, man, our to-do list is so long. Like, I think, we might like I'll talk to Matt more about it, and so we kind of toss around the idea of like kind of sharing you some aspects of our sprint board and our like ideas board, basically our production pipeline, so you kind of see like this different stuff that are in there. I mean, we probably won't like be like, oh yeah, here vote for this, whatever, just because like I think we have other considerations. Obviously, some things that we just have to prioritize, but it'd be interesting to. I mean, I don't see a downside for like sharing. Well, I do see a downside, but I mean, I hope the upside of like sharing like at least a piece, an aspect of a view of our production pipeline will help. I just hope that people don't go like kind of crazy. It's like, oh, what? You're not working on my idea. You're working on someone else's idea. Like that would be a lot of headache. But generally, I think I kind of like that. Be just even more open than we are. But yeah.
All right, and then so two questions. What about the ability to dye hair? And then what is your favorite Robert? Because it's been asked like 8 times. What is your favorite Robert De Niro movie?
Well, like first question is like we actually decided to standardize it because before the ability to dye was just Kovansky, right? And now before we can actually fully make that work well, we just pared it back, so we don't dye hair anymore. But yeah, I mean potentially dye hair. It's some work to kind of tweak to try to look at like what hair looks good, what color, whatever. I think because Tim's really meticulous and things like that. So. And then, so maybe at some point, but favorite De Niro movie? I don't know. It's pretty easy, I think. Godfather? No, like Godfather.
You see, I haven't seen Godfather, so I have to, and the chat can yell at me for that. Like the only thing I really remember him from is Limitless recently.
What?
Yeah, I know. I don't know anything with Robert De Niro. I'm a terrible person. I'm not that good on movies.
Unbelievable. It's just like I think I find it hard to believe. I mean, dude, I don't know, Untouchables, De Niro as Al Capone. I don't know. There's so many like good De Niro movies, man. I mean, yeah, there's just like even. Never mind. Even like Meet the Fockers, like I think De Niro.
You see, I didn't like Meet the Fockers, but I don't.
No, but like just as far as like De Niro's part in it.
Yeah, I mean De Niro was fine in it. I still didn't like the movie, so it's hard to be like, man,
I don't know. I think that's like sacrilege.
Yeah, my problem is anyone who's like I hate Ben Stiller so much that anyone who stands near him, like I just don't like them either at that point. Like
No, I mean just that you don't know like.
Oh yeah, no, it's
Robert De Niro's in like I think I find that stunning. I'm sorry.
I know.
Like, wait, like Taxi Driver? Never seen it?
No, I haven't seen Taxi Driver.
Are you serious? Raging Bull?
No, I haven't seen Raging Bull.
Okay. Untouchables?
I haven't seen Untouchables either.
The Mission? Goodfellas?
No.
What else is he in? Cape Fear?
I haven't seen Cape Fear.
Okay.
I mean, you know what? Over the weekend, I'll try to watch some De Niro.
Heat.
All right, so we'll take one last. Let me take one last official question because I got distracted.
That's unbelievable. I don't know what to say.
So Evolve gives out free costumes if the community reaches certain goals. Any plans to do this? For example, if Squids win so many matches on the weekend.
We could do like if you guys got an idea, we'd love to like do more giveaway stuff. Absolutely don't mind.
Yeah, that's a great idea to think about. We'll see if we can put in some data hooks and give people free stuff. So with that, we're gonna go let the Iron Forker Friday, which is probably already started. We're gonna start hosting the stream so you can watch it here. As always, next week, Tuesday and Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern, Dev Games, join us. We'll stream it here. We'll also be playing in-game, so definitely join us. And then the Dev Fireside Chat. Again, same time, 3 p.m. Eastern. We love having you guys. We should have Jacob and Eric. It depends on exams and Eric's schedule. So,
Deer Hunter, Once Upon a Time in America.
and with that, we're going to end the stream and keep
Backdraft.
talking about De Niro.
Long's Tale.
Bye, everybody.
Kidding me?